We're going to be working on And Towards the Dawn, a Sanguine Odyssey. Some of you may be wondering, Notepad, this is incredibly early. And yes, it is quite early, much earlier than I usually do these things. A few reasons. One, my sense of time has been completely fucked up for the past few days, pretty much. Just a combination of our daylight's losing time, I guess, daylight savings time, as well as my crippling insomnia. So yeah, we're doing this now. We've got quite a bit of stuff. I got quite a bit of stuff to do today, at least anyway. So doing this, and then we're just going to be hammering out some stuff later. It'll be fun. We got stuff to do. That's really all there is to it. Stuff. But yes, as you can see, this is And Towards the Dawn. I didn't put in the title card up front yet. I was debating on if I wanted to just do to not have that version, to kind of change it how I would do it a little bit. I've been kind of going back and forth on myself. For the, like, 2 people interested, this is Russo 1. This is the font here. I like Russo 1 if I want to get, like, a very particular thing here. It's not, like, the super aggressive fucking, hello, you vile creatures. Hello, Manly. Yes, I did want to go for, like, the one with, like, the pseudo-Cyrillic font, because I always think those look a little bit janky. And I think any of my Russian viewers would, try to kill me more than usual. We also have, but the main fonts I chose were Arvo, because I don't know, I like the look of it, as well as, this font's a little bit weird, it's Nanum Gothic. I don't know why, I thought it looked nice, so I decided to use that one instead. But yeah, generally speaking, this is And Towards the Dawn. A little bit of multiple little references in the title, and my Slavs. Did you read your Brezhnev history books? Luckily, I had just to go through classic Russian literature. Unfortunately, Manly. Technically, this title is a reference to And Quiet on the Dawn, as in the Don River. But yeah, don't worry. I have how I want to do things. Hello, you can't stay around because Wi-Fi machine broke, but I want to wish you a good stream. Thank you very much, Jaeger. Hey, it's me, Fat Notepad. Can we even make Fat Albert jokes anymore? I don't know if we can or not. Yeah, Manly has seen the various Tiger Balls at this point. He knows exactly what they all look like. Fat Albert's like one of those characters I could see like people immediately being like, that's racist, even though if you actually watch Fat Albert, it's not racist. It's like the least racist thing possible. It's one of those funny things I don't think people would understand. Terrible, considering Notepad and that other horse girl tiger creator is still breathing. I'll have you know, I optimized horse Manly. I've made him stronger. I don't, Manly, I don't know what your problem is. The Tiger Balls have slowly become part of my brand image. Don't worry, Manly, me and you, we're in this together, ride or die. We're a pair of pals. We're driving off into the sunset together. Give your VTuber boobs, please. No, Slenzip, I will not. I've actually made a dedicated effort to never make a Famal Notepad. The only time I will ever do that is for just a mass gimmick. I'll have you know, you only live because I'm not healthy enough to join the FSB and sick a double agent on you. No, you don't need to do that at all, Slen. No, you do not. Stop that right now. Oh, very briefly, It's for you, businessman to businessman. No, it's not. No, it is not. Mashallah, please. Inshallah, please, brother. Please, brother. Shut up. Shut up, Natalie. You at least show us your man. I'll have you. Some of them have actually been quite complicated in making. Probably like the largest stretch I ever had to make was the mysterious blue shoulder. Also, thank you very much, Painkiller Jane, for resubscribing with Prime. Cuckoo choo. We're doing it. We're gaming. Fucking the Slen here trying to gaslight my fans. Why is this game not called Blood Drive? The clearly superior name, Jort. My dear friend, my dear companion, my Jew from another mama, my kindred spirit, my anti-goy man himself. I'm trying to think of everything. That's what his game is called. His game is called Blood Drive. I would do Blood Drive, and it would be a great fucking name, but having them be similar, I don't think that would work very well. Yeah, that way marketing would explode. See, Nightwatch would be a good one. Manly, where were you when we were coming up with names, man? Where were you coming up with names? Like, we were losing our fucking mind here. I said, you didn't invite me. I didn't invite you. God, Manly. But I think And Towards the Dawn, slowly and steadily did become a little bit of a double nature to this game. Because one of the big things here, as I was reading through, was there was always this sense of having two sides to everything, and the icky gray in the middle. Because the big thing here, I need my special invite. At least this is going to be the lore section. As you kind of see, I've been kind of slowly and steadily, I kind of planned everything out and like how I want to set things up. A basic rundown on the lore is there have been 3 wars. There have been the Flash War, in which it was just a nuclear apocalypse in about the 1970s, Soviet Union. Nobody really remembers it. Everyone knows because there was vampires. There was the Blood War, which was vampires versus the Soviets and just post-apocalyptic nightmare warfare. And now we are currently in the new Cold War, the Ash Wars, in which it's not really a war. It's just a Cold War between the two major factions, as they kind of want to kill each other, but they really can't. But they're always trying to find a good way to justify a new war. Then that's kind of the setup for it. Because I have my someone's pinging me. Who's pinging me? Hello, you. Stalkers, yes, stalkers. Muslim VIP. No, I'm not giving him anything. Wait, vampires are a nuclear accident? No. There was a plague, they made the vampires, which pretty much led to global nuclear holocaust. After all I have done for you. Yes, Manly, I'm sorry. There's only certain people who can really become VIPs in the Notepad and on chat rooms, in the circles. Maybe if you subscribe to my Patreon, I'll think about it. Manly. But pretty much everyone started a nuclear conflict over vampires. All your patrons are schizoids. Yes. Too bad we're Hitler and I can't physically join your Patreon. Sorry, Manly. You're a threat to the free world. God bless America. Speaking about communism. Hey, Note Pass, how's it going? I'm doing okay. like a dream. Oh my god, we got more people showing up. But yes, generally speaking, we've got the three major wars. Everything's going shit. We have the major issues of bloodsuckers and blood bags, otherwise known as vampires and humans. So there is a lot of problems here, but I'm going on a very Slavic interpretation of the end. Because generally speaking, I actually talked about this a little bit in Where the Light Fades Softly. Where the Light Fades Softly, I put in there's the idea of about 3 different apocalypses. There's the Western apocalypse, which is kind of the, life is shit, but life is shit, but we can rebuild. There's the Eastern apocalypse, which is life is ending, so what? Let's vibe. And the final one is the Slavic apocalypse. Everything is awful. Everything is awful. Then everything got more awful. That's kind of the idea of how I broke down the various apocalypses in the world, and you can usually kind of set them up with each other. It's like, oh no, Western apocalypse, oh no, it's the end of days. It's like, life is pretty awful, but we can rebuild it. We're gonna fix society. We're the NCR. I'm Mad Max man, yeah. 95% of the time when you read like an Eastern, like a Japanese, Chinese, anything of that with like, the apocalypse, it's usually 95% of the time is like, man, you know what? We had a good run, everybody. Let's vibe. It really sucks, but we might be able to fix things. We might not. Who knows? I will say this: the Slavs. Reese Strugatsky Bros for Russian post-apoc, not only the roadside picnic. I've always wanted to read the other Strugatsky brother books, but they're really hard to find here in. I was lucky enough to pick up Roadside Picnic at like a book sale. Effectively, it was really good. I still have my copy actually in my box. But yeah, pretty much what the idea is that here in the apocalypse, things have been getting gradually worse over time, and everybody has been trying to get to the point where we are getting ready for the end of days. We're waiting for the last war to kick off, the 4th and final war that's going to kill us all. Everybody's kind of accepted it. Everyone knows it's going to happen. We're just waiting on it. We're waiting until the end of days. But that's where you come in. You, a bunch of fucking fuck-ups, weirdos, and losers, otherwise known as people who have found their, people who are willing to say, fuck that, I want to live, I want to get somewhere, we want to find peace, we want to find something, blah, blah, blah. This leads to two major factions are the Union and the Tsarists. The Union are pretty much like a descendant of the Soviet Union, but that has been gradually shifted to its own kind of philosophy on the matter. One of the major philosophies of the Union is, we're all in this together. As long as you work, you're not going to die. We will feed you. We will keep you alive. They're just mega communists, like just super communism. We also have the Tsarists, which are pretty much the vampire faction. The vampires do legitimately believe they are the heirs of the empire, heirs of the Russian throne. Some claim to be Romanovs, some don't claim to be Romanovs, but they are all generally like, oh well, we are more the mystic kind. We believe in this, we believe in that. They're very hoity-toity. Super commies in scale were enforced by supers. You work, you are born, you work, you die. That's the big thing with the Union. It's all hands on deck 24/7. You don't have money. You don't have money. You instead have like ration cards. That was kind of the idea. It's like you have these ration cards, and that's one of the major issues when you are dealing with vampires in that society, because vampires are accepted in the Union. It's just hellish to, and the 20-second fucking ad, Hey, I don't get to control the ads. I mean, I could run an ad right now. Yeah, it's pretty much the idea is that the Union is the one actually having, like, technology. Oh, running an ad. Have no fear, everybody. We're gonna have to run an ad. Sorry. Sorry, team. I don't think... You bastard! But yes, the Union is probably the most technologically advanced. And they are the ones who clearly have... How do I want to word it? They're the ones who are clearly getting shit done. Tsarists, on the other hand, are vampires who do believe in this kind of like this neo-feudal monarchy, with the unfortunate reality of everybody above, pretty much, I'm going to allow this because I don't know what it's going to be. Everybody above kind of like the middle management is fucking insane, just completely bonkers. And it's like, yeah, you're allowed to do whatever you want in the Tsarist's land. The only issue is like, yeah, there's things like the blood tithe. There are a lot of problems with being like vampires are regarded as much more highly. You have independence, obvious. Hey, you're independent entities. These are bandit groups. These are independent towns. So fucking insane. So basic capitalist Russians, vampire Russians. The kind of people who are like, I can use magic powers. I'll use my supernatural abilities to, you know, try to enslave people with my doom weapons. It's like, oh. Stalkers, on the other hand, are kind of your polar opposite. And that's one thing I kind of want to get across more than anything when I'm going to be writing the lore, which is a stalker is someone who goes out to find shit. It can be old technology. It can be kind of what I don't have a good name for it yet, but I want the idea is that there's going to be a resource which is pretty much condensed magic. This condensed supernatural phenomenon. But that's what they go out there. They effectively are hunting artifacts. And they're kind of your polar opposite in a few ways, but they're your polar opposite on the same coin. You are stalking out of the land, trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. You need to leave this area. Stalkers are really tied to a few areas. This is where you're from. You want to either help people around here, you're building up this location, you're going out to trying to deal with issues. Stalkers are probably going to be your best friend, but also people who are diametrically opposed to you. They say, hey, this is our land. We want to build up this land. This is what we care about. We find these artifacts to, you know, continue things. Well, you are trying to leave. They don't want to necessarily, like, they're not going to shoot on sight with you. It's more along the idea, more of a philosophy thing. Ferals, on the other hand, are just crazy fucking vampires and crazy fucking people. Anyone can become a feral. You've just gone completely bonkers insane, mostly by trying to eat magic. You try to eat magic. It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to cast fireball. You know, it's not necessarily that kind of magic. Much more strange and much more unnatural. It's there's not like, no one's throwing magic around. If you are a magician, you are a feral. You are fucking insane. Like, and you have gained powers that are really unnatural. And then, of course, we have highway gangs, which I might drop highway gangs. I might just put them in the independent ones. But that's kind of the idea. Those are the kind of the major factions there. And then we kind of like, why are you doing this? But yeah, that's kind of the basics of the game, of kind of the... So where the overworked and beleaguered medic faction that really hates everyone. No followers of the apocalypse. That's kind of the idea of the independence is, and one thing I need to put into like a GM section more than anything is every single person you meet is gonna be a part of something. They're a part of a group. If they're not part of a group, they're either got kicked out by someone, they're either exiled, or they're on the run, or there's something else going on. They're feral, for example. Ferals hate each other, but So it's kind of like the idea that anytime you enter a new zone, there may be a few different factions kind of dealing with one another here and being like, yeah, there is a massive Union city here that, feeds the beast a little bit of the region, but there is also kind of like a, medic town effectively, and medic towns full of very nice people who are probably the best medics in the area, best medicine, best everything. Problem is, they also, regularly practice blood sacrifices. It is what it is. So the stalkers are the least corrupt. To a degree. It's just kind of the perception of a stalker is somebody who is outside of the norm. They're weirdos. They are people who are like you, who are broken out of the system a little bit, but where you are trying to leave, you're as a drifter, that's why I finally gave the name to them as drifters, you're trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. You need to leave an area, you want to get to someplace. Stalkers don't want to leave. They're like, this is my homeland, I'm not going to leave this place, I want to make it better. So it's kind of like, again, dichotomy is a big thing I want to kind of like constantly reinforce here. There are vampires, there are humans. They have a lot of things similar to one another, but they are very different from one another as well. The Union and the Tsarists. They fought a massive fucking war, and they want to fight another war. Everyone knows that they will kill each other if they do this, and nobody's going to win, but they still want to fight this war. But they share a lot of things. They're both totalitarian nightmare regimes. Just the way they do it is different. And it's kind of that constant back and forth of law, order, chaos, it's one of those things like everything has its diametric opposite. And that diametric opposite should feel something a little bit more odd. I think if we bring up Fallout, for example, Fallout's a very good example. We'll use New Vegas, for example. Caesar's Legion and the NCR are diametrically opposed. But if you really pay attention to it, they are actually doing the same thing. They are doing the exact same thing. Both want to come in, they want to take over the dam, and then they want to erase the identities of those who they absorb. You don't become, you're not the independent city of Vegas, you're going to become the state of Vegas. Hey, you are not, you're not the Great Khans anymore, you're just another part of Caesar's Legion. So that's kind of the idea. Both of them they're completely opposite of one another, but they want to do the exact same things. Opposite sides of the same coin. And I constantly kind of want to reinforce that idea, and unfortunately, you are in the middle of it. You are that gray zone. You are the exception case with all the problems that go along with it. So it's kind of like the idea of, hey, we want to... Here's a good idea. This is one of the examples he provided, actually. You are Union soldiers. Your friend got bit. Your friend has turned into a vampire. You look at that. You don't want him. You do not want him to pretty much slave away and die pretty young. So you're like, okay, new plan. We're gonna haul ass away from here. We're just gonna leave. We're gonna get as far away from this place as possible. Together, get in the fucking car. We're deserting. We need to get the hell out of Dodge. So you try to get out of Dodge. And it's like, there is that little thing in the middle being like, yeah, the Union fucking hates vampires. They despise vampires. To the point where it's like, any vampire who wants to become part of the Union is going to get worked to death. So it's like, you don't want that for your friend. Your friend obviously doesn't want to get worked to death, so fuck it. Fuck this, fuck this shit. We don't want to die. So, all ass cost crunchy. So the stalkers are the designated PC group. Exact opposite. You're drifters. The stalkers are pretty much the thing that you definitely are not. You're not stalkers in the slightest. You're drifters. Stalkers are all cool. You're a bunch of assholes in a car. They are... How I want stalkers to come across as is... They are the most well versed in that area you are in. Knowing a stalker, getting to know a stalker, helping a stalker out, or, talking to them is going to get you the most information on this area. But you are not a stalker. You might have formerly been one, but you're hauling ass. You don't want to be here anymore. They want to stay here. And each stalker might have their own allegiances. This is a Union stalker. He doesn't like you guys because you guys are Union deserters. So obviously he might be fighting one. Hey, you guys, Zara stalkers are going to be somewhat different. They're just people slightly outside of society who understand with. So where's the road trip to? That's going to be kind of one of those things where I need to say, like, hey, you need to choose where the fuck this road trip is going to. Which is probably going to be a note I have to leave for like a GM section, which is going to be like, hey, depending on the length of this journey, it's going to determine a lot about how long things are going to be, how powerful, quote unquote, powerful you're going to be getting, and things like that. It's a little bit ill-defined. That's one of the ideas. That I don't want to be like, you are definitely going to this place. It's been a long time since St. Petersburg has ever been a thing. All you know is where St. Petersburg maybe is a super Union city. Maybe. You don't know. I'm leaving the setting a little bit vague because it's like, hey, we want to go to Vladivostok. Vladivostok is going to be a long journey. That's going to be, a long ass haul across Siberia and all that bullshit going on there. On the other hand, if you just want to say, hey, we want to hit, Georgia, for example, it may be a little bit shorter. Kind of depends on how you want to approach things. Very ill-defined travel distances, because I don't want to hammer that out all by myself, because that sounds annoying. Let's see. It is Pepper's birthday. Yes, of course. Is the world a nuclear wasteland? Yes, that was the first war. The first war was the nuclear holocaust against reality. The second war is when everyone was like, man, I really hate vampires. And then they declared, pretty much the idea is that we rebuilt after the nuclear apocalypse. And then proceeded to destroy each other again in a giant ass war. It is appropriate. It is Pepper's birthday today. So, everybody say happy birthday, Pepper. Okay, we all said happy birthday, Pepper. Okay, let's do it together. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Pepper. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-wee! My boy Slen isn't in here, so you wouldn't get the reference. But, yes. Welcome to the... there we go, Pepper. Congratulations, you have been officially, christened into the birthday of being, let me think. From what I know about you... 30. I think Pepper's about 30, 32, maybe? Around that age. Pepper is a old woman. Old, forsaken creature. Yeah, since you can play both humans and bloodsuckers, what it changes to be A or B. Also, all women are forsaken creatures. Vampires are going to have higher base attributes, but there's going to be more things to deal stress. That's kind of how that's going to be working. I knew this was good. Skill and attribute. So let's get to it. And towards the dawn, and towards the dawn, and towards the dawn. And towards the dawn is a tabletop role playing game about going on in Odyssey across a blasted hellscape of the Ashlands. Together with a small batch of hopefuls, the group will undertake their journey and hopefully and perhaps even survive it. To play and towards the dawn each the group will need the play and towards the dawn. You will have to actually use. You will need plan towards the dawn. You will need a set of D10s, ideally 5 per player. 3 to 5 drifters. Would be a good not a storyteller. Actually, no. You know what? I think a narrator work. A narrator to tell the story. A narrator to and guide the game, as well as a morbid fascination with the concept of death. Actually, I'm going to say 2 to 4 with the concept of entropy. You know. I like that you need 3 to 5 drifters. Also, what dice are we looking at? D10s. D10 game. Let's see. Actually, I should say it. 2 to 4 drifters for. Actually, 2 to 4 drifters, and narrator to take the role and the guide of the entropy towards the dawn. I'm going to have to make this a pretty. Whenever a drifter needs to actually, how do I want to word this? How do I want to word this properly? It's Miro. Hello, Miro. Miro. Go right there. I'll talk. 'Cause, 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 I always psych myself up here. Mm. Mm. Okay. Whenever the drifters, actually, we want to be whenever the drifters are present. All right, let's see. Whenever the drifters are presented with a difficulty or threat. Whenever the drifters are presented with a difficulty or threat, they will need to make a judgment. They'll need to make a judgment. They'll need to make a judgment. This has the drifter take a number of d10s equal to attribute and skill. Let's see. This has the drifter take a number of d10s equal to their attribute and skill. Rolling them together. Any die that is above the target number TM is considered a success. Is considered a success. Most judgments will only require a single success. Let's see. Most judgment only requires a single success to bypass. However, complex or esoteric. Let's see. Complex or esoteric tasks may increase the however, esoteric or mystifying tasks may increase the complexity of the judgment. Let's see. However, esoteric or mystifying tasks may increase the complexity of the judgment. Each rank, increasing the number of successes required. Game design. Increasing the number of successes required by the complexity. If the drifter, actually no, we're going to have to do a little bit of finagling here. I'm going to be doing a thing that I've been doing pretty consistently because I just like the way that it looks personally. I'm going to insert a table, do like this. Five easy average complex actually what would be good? Fuck, we already used the term complex. Complex, synonym. Compounded, multiplex, complicated, intricate. Actually, we can do complicated. Because my usual idea for this, and people have actually asked me this, oh, jeez, I fucking had the damn thing muted. Have no fear, Lubu. Have no fear. I did put down my audio ever so slightly, just to make it a little bit. Because what happens a lot of the time is I have a bad tendency of spiking my mic, so I've been trying to keep that a little bit lower. So I'm trying to keep within like the little green to yellow area. So let's see. Yeah, my usual philosophy when it comes to like difficulty, like names and stuff, is easy. Average is going to be pretty much the thing that you're going to be rolling most average. Mostly when you get to things like complicated and difficult and hard, the naming gets a little bit more complex. Which is the idea of something complicated isn't difficult, it isn't hard. It's just wonkier. It's different, and it's something you got to take a little bit more time to think about, a little bit more time to do. Solving a complicated math equation isn't like going to be it's not difficult necessarily, it's just not something you can do on the top of your head. It's going to take a little bit more work to do. Difficult is achievable, but not impossible. Hard is like hard. Then usually the top difficulty has a variety of names. So how fucking cursed are the guns? The commissioner did, ooh, I do not like the bold of this. Ooh, that looks rough. I can work with it. The commissioner is not a gun guy. If I do go hardcore on guns, I can, but he kind of made it more about the idea like travel is more important than anything else. So I'm going to kind of follow his wishes on that. Like, I'm not going to make guns very complicated. We are going to have assault rifle, hunting rifle. We're going to have very generic names for guns, and guns aren't going to be like super complicated. But that's also going to be kind of playing into how combat in general works. And what I'm going to be doing is shifting the entirety of there isn't necessarily going to be a combat system. There's going to be a conflict system. Anything can go under this complex, this conflict system, and things are going to happen with it. Obviously, you're not going to die from a debate. You're going to get shot. It's like yeah, wait, is this Oregon Trail but Slavic with shittier equipment? Yes! Friendship with gun autism ended. Now cards autism is my friend. I am very debating on how autistic I want to go with cars. I'm very worried. Luckily, I've been approached, mind you, for another commission project. I have 2 fucking commission projects after this one lined up. It's a problem, I swear. Though after this particular project, I'm going to bring it up to another notocracy for the boys, and yeah, new notocracy, get everybody voting on what they want to see next. What's going to happen is we're going to do Nautomons after this game, which is then going to go into the first commission project I received, which is going to be no gun autism. Thankfully, if the people do not vote for it, we won't have to deal with gun autism for at least a little while. By the power of the whaler. No, notocracy is for what games we're going to be working on. You get to decide what case we're going to be working on. Very different. 10, is that correct? Anyone who is not in deep note lore is going to get a little bit confused. Let's see. Most judgment will require a single success to bypass. However, esoteric and mystifying tasks may increase the complexity of the judgment, increasing the number of successes required by the complexity, which we're going to be doing. Each die that is Each die that is successful will We'll increase the threshold. We'll increase the threshold of we'll increase the degree of success by 1. A minimal success 1 will have the drifter complete the task, but just barely, while a fantastic 5, it would be actually while a 4 will have them clear it with flying colors, increasing the number of degrees of success. The degrees of success allow the drifters to push forward and allow the drifters to push forward and grant them better successes and allow them more opportunities and supplies should they look for it. While a drifter can be reasonably expected to perform most tasks successfully. Actually, there is a important quality to all drifters, which is the assumption of competence. In short, all drifters can be expected to perform up to adequate, or actually all drifters are considered to be at least adequately prepared and able to perform tasks before them. Drifters do not need to make a judgment, do not to read a book, but read a book, jump over, let's see. Drifters do not need to make a judgment to read a book, climb a fence, or shoot a stationary target. Shoot a stationary target in front of them. However, while under duress, judgments should be called in either extreme circumstances or where success is paramount. Reading a book in a foreign language, climbing a fence under gunfire, or actually climbing a fence while carrying a friend, or shooting at moving targets are all fairly stressful. So yeah, there we go. We're going to put in the assumption of competence. Generally speaking, this is a important note for all you little game designers out there. If you ever have to think about are my characters competent, generally assume they are competent. The idea being that, hey, you don't need to make a roll for, you will 95% of the time see this in, normally, actually I should say, you will normally see this when, there. You'll normally see this when you're talking about things such as like, oh, you don't need to make a roll to walk across a room. You don't need to make a roll to walk across a room. You've never needed to make a roll to do that. And if anybody is doing that, there should be a good reason why you need to make a roll to walk across the room. Hey, everybody. It's... You're making a roll to walk across the room because it's important. 0. You like that? You're making a roll to walk across a room because you have 3 bullets in your chest and you are currently not doing well. Easy enough to understand. Also, this is the symbol of the Union. Painkiller Jane picks the next one. Whoever gets the second place in the whaling thing picks the one after that. Hey spreadsheet, how deep and how much info would I need to give a commission to not be a pain in the ass to do so? What about shooting a moving target while moving? That's going to be a little bit more complicated. Yeah, I just want to give a few examples. As much information as possible. That's kind of the best way I can kind of word it. Is sometimes the best way to think about it is if it's a lot of fucking information about like a setting or something like that, we can work for it. Like we can work with it in that case. If you give me like a lot of mechanical information and like a little bit of setting, I can work with it. If you don't give me a lot of setting information, you don't give me a lot of mechanical information, I'm going to have to kind of start winging it a little bit more. The more the merrier. And this is why I like telling people, it's like more the merrier. Please give me as much information as you'd like. Or as little as you'd like. Like you are shooting from the van in movement. Well, I haven't written combat yet, Wuso, so probably not going to be working like with that right now. But I should. This sounds good to me. We're going to put in. This will be heading 2. Pain, agony, and pain, agony. Actually, no. Actually, no. Bonus and penalty. What would be a good one? This is pretty much like, instead of a traditional way of like you get more dice or something, it's going to affect the target number. So I don't want to call it like advantage, disadvantage, because that's not quite, because you're mostly going to be getting penalties to things when you take wounds and such. So it's like, it's going to, but if you get a penalty, maybe we can call it, what's something dramatic to sound appropriate? We want, work with me here. Fucking hell. See, I love naming. I always love, because it's always important to have something like that. I'm just going to call it advantage, disadvantage for now. I have to come up with a good name there. Manly. Oh, my tiger ball. I require assistance. There's probably some kind of name for this so that I can kind of think of a good one. Oh yeah, speaking about Manly, he did pay for a ad. So here's an ad, everybody. Oops. Oops, I did it again. I love it when people actually pay me note coin to run ads. It's amazing. I don't get any money from them. That's the funniest. I was so happy today. They had my little thing open. as the drifters move, as the drifters traverse the ash. We'll see. As drifters traverse the ash, they will encounter situations which will hinder or assist in their quest. Will hinder or assist in their quest. These are referred to as X/Y, and directly impact the target number, and directly impact the difficulty, the target number, of judgments. I mean, while the advantages when a drifter has the correct tools or time to give them a distinct leg up, decreasing the target number, increasing the TN of EN, but not complexity of the judgment by 1 for each tick of it. If a judgment were to ever become 0, then all of the die actually be able to become 1, then all of the die are considered successes as the drifter bypasses it with flying colors. Pretty much the idea is that if you somehow manage to get something to 1 or 2 by just having a lot of advantages or something, you automatically succeed. You don't need to roll really at that point. However, I pass with flying colors. Disadvantage. A far more common situation is disadvantage. While under the not auspicious. What's the auspicious antonym? Okay. While under the malicious gaze of fate, the TN of judgments increases by 1. Rendering even simple tasks a bit harder to complete. If this were to ever cross the if this were to ever become 11 or higher, then they will have no chance of success. Of course, there is an alternative. The drifters can willingly reduce their stress. Actually, I'm gonna save this for later. I just want to get this across. We're just doing with the maths right now. I really don't know what else I want to call these. Because part of me is like, yeah, let's call it advantage, disadvantage, because that's just the easiest name possible. I guess we can do, auspice would, malice antidote. What's a good malice antidote? I guess we can bring it down to like malice and what would be a good benevolence? Use over time for benevolence dip. Suspicious. Productive success, favorable. Actually, we can do malice and favor. I think that works. I like that. That works. So it would be favor and malice. I think that really kind of sets the tone a little bit more. Refer to as favor or malice. And directly impact the target number of judgment. Favor is when the drifter has correct tools time. Flexing judgment by 1 for each tick. For each by 1. If a judgment were to ever become 1, then all the die considered a success and bypass succeeds. And then all dice are considered successes, and the drifter will reap benefit. Our more common situation is malice. Under the let's see, we want malice. Malignant. Also, this movie was dumb as shit, by the way. Under the malignant gaze of fate, no chance. They will have no chance of success. Costly and dangerous. Drifter. Pepper wants a birthday roll. I'm saying her no. I mean, I could give her to Gorbino. That would be funny. See, we've got how to play. Let's check. Penalties and drawbacks. One's lost, success needed. Okay. I am going to put this note in. I think this is going to be important. Actually, Quartermaster. And towards the dawn. Towards the dawn. Dawn is a game primarily built around resources and the deprivation of such. With a few moving parts, it may benefit some groups to include to designate a player or drifter may designate a drifter as the quartermaster. It's their duty to keep up to date. It's their duty to keep up to date on the supplies and equipment the group has, and and keep things flowing nicely. Alternatively, the narrator can be master as well. This is not strictly a drifter role. This is not strictly a quote in universe role, but a meta one to keep the game flowing nicely. Yep, nice and easy. I'm deciding to put this in here right now, just be like, there is going to be a lot of resources. You open up right now, just tell people like, hey, kind of know that this is going to be a thing. We're good, I'm good, we're all Gucci. Let's see, side note on horrifying content. End towards the dawn is fundamentally a game about terrifying bloody and violent situations. If your group is squeamish to such things, please discuss it with their group as adults. This game is not strictly for children and should be treated as such. Very that's my usual tactical thing of like, just talk with your fucking group. Oh, well, what's your position on fucking safety tools? Who fucking cares? Like, this is a game for adult human beings. Please talk like adults. Which we're going to do. Important note. Most important note. If there is actually I should say a important note. If there is ever a fraction round down. Oh, if there was ever a fraction round down, for example, 1.5 becomes 1. 2.35 becomes 2, and 3.89 and 3.75 becomes 3. Go. Round down, unless stated. For example, always important to bring this note in. I've gradually over time I've come to say like, it's just put in the note. We're going to even highlight it a little bit better just so everybody knows. An important note. There we are. A little bit more visual distinction. Oh, hey, did those guys ever get back to you about your work on the Napoleonic game? I sent it to them. Let's check the email. Let's check the email right now. Maybe they got back to me. Maybe they'll say something important. I've got nothing at all. Nope. What a shame. Let's see. Yeah, no, they haven't got back to me yet. I don't think I'll get back. I don't think they'll get back to me in like at best. At best, I'm going to assume at the end of the month I might get something. At best. I don't know if they even will get back to me. Who knows? Because I'm technically an American. That might actually like shift some opinions on the matter, because I'm not in the UK. And it's not like they're racist against people who aren't British. You know, if you aren't Anglo, get out of my way, yo. No, I think it's just, hey, this is just, you aren't here necessarily, so that might be a little bit more complicated. Alright, so, how do we want to set this game up? Because I knew this wasn't going to be a long stream. Here's the thing, I know this isn't going to be a long stream. Apologies for that. I just got a lot of stuff to do this week. So we need to do, let's plan things out a little bit here. So the first things first, we want to do, I think we need to do character create. I think we need to do why we drifters with no home. Actually, we should say becoming drifters. This is going to be our character creation chapter. I think the first one we're going to be, how we're going to organize this is we're going to have this as a, we're going to do the traveling concept. This is going to be kind of like this is kind of our high concept, like what we're playing as. I'm going to say put that in character creation for one very important reason, which is to very clearly state, this is who you are, this is what you're going to should build a character around. And it's like, hey, we're a bunch of deserters. Cool, you're a bunch of deserters. That's a important, that by itself is a method that you should think about, if that makes sense. You are you're a bunch of deserters, play around with that when you're making characters. We're a bunch of merchants hauling ass. You should worry about that. We're protecting we're on a one-way quest to get to the Tsarist homeland to deliver a scion to his rightful place. That's going to be a very different campaign than a couple other things. I think establishing that concept early is going to be mandatory. Then we're going to do actually we should do Drifter's history, which we're going to talk about the super types more than anything. And generally speaking, I think we can break down most character archetypes into something. It's going to be something like, oh, it's like, oh, you're the soldier. Oh, you are the survivor. It's kind of like some like universal character traits. Because what I kind of want to do is who you are. It's why you are traveling, who you are, then what you are. Hey, I'm a survivor. I'm going to get more stressed out whenever I'm in danger. When things are going wrong, I don't want to die. And that's going to be something that you have to contend with. This is kind of the first instance of like, okay, we're kind of getting a little bit here. I want to keep it open though, which is like, here are maybe like 5 very basic things with like a stress note that you need to know about. Things that stress you out. However, if you want to write your own in, you totally can. I'm not going to stop you, if that makes sense. I think that's going to, like, if you want to be a very certain kind of character, go for it. That's your prerogative. think that'll work, because the thing is, like, here is like what I want to do is I want to get you like the basic idea of how you want to do things. Then we're going to get into who you are. It's going to be vampire / human. Humans are going to have, let's see, human. A little bit different there. You might be like, oh well, I don't have that many skills. The big thing with humans versus vampires is humans, you only have to worry about human fears. You're going to get stressed out if things go wrong for you. You're going to stress out if you get hurt. You're going to start stressing out when things are going wrong, but it's very human in that way. You're not really going to freak out at everything. Vampires, on the other hand, are going to start getting stressed out if they're not eating properly. And that stress is going to get a lot worse. Hey, you're going to stress out if you're in the fucking sun for too long. You're stressing out. It's one of those things. Vampires are going to stress a lot easier. They're a lot harder to... They're a lot more mentally sound, but they're also a lot more prone to things going wrong. It's 150% in either direction. I think that's kind of the issue for them. They're very strong, they're very tough. But the problem is they're going to have an emotional breakdown faster. And you don't want them to have an emotional breakdown. They also are a big suck, if that makes sense, of resources. Because they eat money. Because blood is money. So who you are, kind of going over that. Then we're going to go into, I think we should do attributes, and then we talk about skills. So if we do traveling concept, drifter history, who you are, the attributes, if I can fucking spell attributes, talk about the skills, and then we can probably do... I guess we can talk about the car, or I might actually put that into a different thing. Going nowhere, drifter creation. Ooh. Going nowhere, drifter creation. I'm just gonna put this right here, so I don't forget about it. Drifters. You are a... Drifters are individuals of complicated origin. Every single one has a different reason for trying to reach the metaphorical promised land. Of their dreams. Some are escaping persecution. Some are filled with suicidal wanderlust, and others are on a one-way suicide mission, or on a one-way quest, which they may not turn from. Whoever a drifter is, they will always have a few common traits. Normally they are few common traits. Notably, they are always a little odd, a little mysterious, and of course, often being hunted by something, someone or something, which we're gonna go into when we start hidden travel. Like, this is the idea of being hunted, which is kind of a major theme, and this is like kind of what I want to talk about, like up here at the Last Road to Salvation, is like, people do not travel in this world. That's not really a thing that occurs. Only the military really travels, and people who desperately need to. The fact that you have a car and the fact that you are driving away from every civilization effectively pretty much means you're a fucking weirdo, or there's a big problem going on. Hey, you're running away from the Union. They want to kill you. Hmm. Hmm. People are sending me messages. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. Why we wander? No. Every group of drifters are leaving something behind, often permanent. Leaving something behind permanently. No one in this day and age wants to abandon everything. If they can help it. Even the most flighty of bandits and ne'er-do-wells, and ferals would rather go down fighting than leave behind their things. The drifters, all they may have is a few bags, a car, and enough fuel to get them to the next town. They are regarded by denizens of the Ashlands. They're regarded by denizens of the Ashlands as strangers, freaks, and or mentally unwell, which many are. But one of the more presiding facts is that these drifters are escaping something. Their flight is never something properly planned out. The flight is never something properly planned out. Often in a spur of the moment. To leave their lives behind. This Light is almost this retreat. Let's see, this retreat. This retreat is often punctuated by something, or usually is punctuated by a group wanting them back, or their heads on a pike. The first thing to do when creating a team of drifters. First thing to do when creating a team of drifters is determine why they are fleeing. Let's see, determine why they are fleeing and from why they are fleeing. Whom are they fleeing from? And what's the current situation. Rarely will it ever be simple. But this does serve an important starting point for the adventure going forward. And who isn't. This why we wander. Ooh. And we're going to here, we're going to put here, we're going to do something like this. We're going to few examples. Yeah. Let's see, the deserters, ward, the exiles, let's see, deserters, the wards, the exiles. What would be another good one? What did you have for me to work with? You had some fucking names, something here that made a lot of sense, but I completely forgot what the fuck it was. Familial. Okay. Family, and then finally the merchant. Then the let's see, what would be a good example of this? It's the deserters, the ward, the exiles, the family, the business. Why we drift is funny as hell. Yeah, unfortunately, drifting is it's the correct term for this. You're drifters because that's what you are. You're drifting from point A to point B. Unfortunately, I'm running in the 90s. You know, that's kind of how it goes. It's, Eurobeat is now. I'm sorry, everybody. You know, it's just Eurobeat hours now. That's just how it goes. I don't really get to make that many choices in life, but this is actually a little bit. Give me a little bit more room to work with. So, business, wealth and power comes to those who can afford it. Luckily, you have some old tech, good guns, or any number of valuables in the trunk, and everyone knows it. So it's kind of like the idea of like, yeah, you have all this money and you have all these resources, and it's like you are clearly doing good. Unfortunately for you, everybody else wants it. It's like, oh fuck. The two militaries. Two militaries of the Ashlands are at one another's throats, and pushing their soldiers to the limit. You broke, and pushing their soldiers to the limit. You broke. Now they and traitors get the gun. Let's see, the exiles, let's see, rolls on kind of those, the family. Oh, let's see, the family, by alone, you are in this together by blood alone. Salvation is in the passenger seat. Salvation is in the passenger seat. Now, everyone wants them, and your task with delivering. Damn it. Guess we can do. Ooh, that's. I guess if we do this, we just had to add like a big ass thing there. I guess if we do that, we can afford a little bit more. And your task with delivering. Go. Easy enough to understand. Eurobeat is the only good thing left in the setting. The world is hopeless, but at least we've got Slav Jank and Eurobeat. So yeah, this is kind of the idea, is like you are kind of like determining your initial group composition, not necessarily group composition, but kind of like why you are here is going to kind of indicate who you should be playing, not necessarily like who you should be playing as, but kind of indicating like, hey, this is who like we should be kind of thinking about. If you're playing deserters, most likely you're going to be playing soldiers of some variety. So maybe taking, some fighting skills would be good. If you're playing a business, the businessmen, taking some more charismatic ones, the exile. This is just a few examples. Now, anything could be really happen here. That's kind of the point. And I think that should be somewhat encouraged, is like, hey, yeah, understand that anything can be really happen, but it does really serve as an important starting point. This is going to determine a lot about the players and in turn the characters. Why you are who you are. Actually, heading, yeah, it's heading 2. I should add the headings. Okay, so let's do. Who are you? Who are you? Each of the drifters have a story to tell. Each of the drifters have a story to tell. But each have a story to tell. People in extreme circumstances. But each person will. Oh God. I drank something too fast. Fuck. But each person will be defined by their nature and backgrounds. When creating a drifter, their history will determine who they are, as well as their personal stress, as well as their personal stress, anxiety. What is stress? What causes stress? Yes. Let's see. Stress synonyms. Let me think. What am I trying to word? It's let's see. Their history will determine who they are, as well as their personal stress. Personal stress. Let's see. Personal stress indicates what can break the drifter in the world. It could be what breaks the drifter in the what can break the drifter in the world. It could be simple. It could be complex. It could be simple. It could be complex. But regardless, no individual is alone in this no individual is alone in this terrible world. But no individual is a hardened soul. Is actually an impeccable soul. Actually, it is an unbreakable. Regardless, no individual is an unbreakable soul. No matter if they are a human or vampire. Below are some example super types. These are broad explanation. These are broad histories which a drifter may choose from or create their own with narrator permission. So it's kind of like the idea of being like, I can't really plan for every single story taking place in this because it's such a broader setting in that exact idea, but it's kind of like, yeah, so Survivor, let's see, the Survivor, the Soldier, I just need like three good ones to kind of like wrap this up. Just kind of actually Mm. Ah, there we go. The bleak. Okay, so the drifter. The drifter is a survivor. They will not die. They will not die. They have pushed through worse. Come out stronger. However, they are stressed. They are stressed out by. Let's see. How do I want to work? However, they are stressed out by being in danger. As that simply puts them more at risk. Survivors want to live. That's their big thing. It's like being put in danger. Like, okay, I don't like doing this. The warrior by trade or necessity. Soldiers is warrior by trade or necessity. They fight, they kill, and they will emerge victorious. However, the blood on their hands makes it impossible. Makes it impossible to relax. They are stressed. They are stressed by. They're stressed by senseless violence. They are stressed by senseless violence. So the idea is, as a survivor, you just don't want to be put in danger because you want to live. That's the big thing. You want to live. Soldiers, on the other hand, of like, if you just witness senseless violence or you partake in senseless violence, it's like, I don't like this. This is kind of breaking me a little bit. I'm not enjoying this as much. Actually, warrior. A silly joke or a tale is all they need to keep themselves and others going. But without that spark of hope, even the funniest clown breaks. Being complete hopelessness is a hopelessness is a major source of stress. Kind of like the idea is like, if some one of these stress factors, like you want to define like a thing that really is going to define you. These stress factors can be a little bit of anything. There's something that is going to break you. Something that you don't want to be a part of. Something that is clearly unfortunate. Are Slavic vampires different from normal vampires? They are. The series this is based off of. Yeah, vampires are a little bit different. Vampires are pretty weird in that regard. They play by the same rules, but they have a little bit more cryptic natures going on with them. Little bit. They're more in traditional Slavic mythology. They're a little bit more magical than what we would consider them to be. However, how I'm going to be writing them and the show this is based off of they're going to be kind of a mixture of a few different things. Generally speaking, if you know what a vampire is, you already kind of know how this is going to be working here. Hopelessness is a major source of stress. Actually, the academic. Head in a book and in. Let's see, head in a book and an excited and a eagerness to learn more, pushing boundaries and exploring the unknown. However, no book can let's see, however, how do I want to word this? That knowledge is what drives them. That knowledge is what drives them, and being denied learning is a deep-seated concern. It's kind of the idea with, if you're playing an academic, is you want to learn things, you want to explore new things, and if you're being denied that, you're going to stress out a little bit because you want to know. You're too curious, effectively. So it's kind of like a thing to push you forward a little bit. And finally, way with words. Clever wit or simple gregarious nature. All of these feed into a strong charismatic aura. How being extroverted does mean that being alone is not only a stressful, but also worry is not only a danger, but also stressful. Anyway, this is kind of like the idea behind them. So it's like, yeah, just being in danger is kind of like oh, I don't want to be in danger because I may be a survivor, but I don't want to be in that. Soldiers don't want to be, kind of stuck in like these moments of senseless violence. You want to give them purpose. Some of them are pretty obvious, like, yeah, if you're an extrovert, you don't want to be being alone is not only dangerous. There we go. Some of them are pretty obvious, like what you can do and like what would be some like good, some super type some examples. Some simple examples. Side note in here. I'm just gonna put a big side note. Designing your own. Generally speaking, the super types of characters are broad character quirks, that are broad characteristics that define a drifter and their nature. Being a soldier can mean a wide variety of things. So if the player wishes to be a introvert, then it can explain quite a bit about them. However, the stressor is a part of that description. Part of that super type, which the drifter must contend with, as well as enable the narrator to present it as a threat. Being introverted means that they want to keep to themselves and close compatriots, but are going to start to stress out if they are amongst us, if they are amongst larger groups. These shouldn't be overbearing. I don't like people. Nor should overbearing. Nor should they be strictly. Nor should they be so rare that it never comes up. It never comes up. Afraid of. But if presented work with the drifter to make it succinct, or broaden it out. That, for example, people frighten me can be turned into vampires. Vampires frighten me. Actually, we can turn into frighten me and or afraid of severe radiation poisoning. Poisoning can be converted into There we go. Pretty much the entire idea is this is a thing that defines you a lot more, rather than being just like strictly just these are the human things, these are the vampire things. This is a personal issue that you have as a vampire. I don't like being around people very much. Okay, understandable. Like, okay, let's hold, let's put this down. I don't like being in large crowds. That you don't. It's not like I don't like people. It's I don't like being in a crowd of people. I don't like being I don't like being this massive group of people. I get really, I get anxiety from it. That's a human trait. That's very human. That's very standard. That's very, a lot of people suffer from that. Or it could be like, I just don't like vampires. I get stressed out anytime vampires are nearby. Vampires I don't know even, because I'm a fucking Union soldier. I've been raised my entire life to be afraid of these fucking things. Vampire road trip, yes. Poor notepad, I'm afraid of crowds. Here's the thing with me and crowds. Like, I've been described throughout my life as, you are an introvert. And I'm like, yes, I am an introverted person. I am not like, I've seen some people who are like, I won't go out in like large crowds. I'm fine in crowds. I like crowds actually. I'm more easily kind of be able to slip through and such. I don't know. I'm kind of odd when it comes to that. I'm perfectly fine with crowds. I know some people who are deathly afraid. I know some people who are deathly afraid of any crowd possible. They just get super psyched out by it. I'm fine with it. So let's go to a shitty local band. So is this more like kind of like the Dawn Line or more Oregon Trail? More Oregon Trail. Because the entire idea is that it's not necessarily just you. It's not like how do I know it's not? It's not necessarily just like a caravan of like a couple dozen, couple hundred people. It is you and like 3 of your best friends in a shitty Russian shit in a Russian shit box, trying your best to get across the beautiful open world of nightmares. Pretty much the best way to think about it, it's you two vampires and your best friend as you go on a fucking odyssey across the country. Is Death Road to Canada? I've always seen Death Road to Canada. For those who don't know, Death Road to Canada is this video game. You've probably it was pretty popular there for a while on stream and on like for YouTubers, you could say, because you can do a lot of stuff with it. The other game he's talking about is Oregon Trail. This is the Oregon Trail. You can kind of see this, DC, 230 miles from DC to Pittsburgh. The Oregon Trail, the director's cut is like choose your character. I wonder, what's the this is $5 to buy the original Oregon Trail, not Oregon Trail. Yeah, you kind of see here. You're trying a lot of little mini games and stuff. Did these guys ever put out anything? Max Gentleman. Max Gentleman Sexy Business. I know it was they haven't really put out anything. Huh, interesting. Yeah, these are the that's kind of the best way to word it. Would be more along the idea of Oregon Trail. Or fuck, just played Rigor Mortis Rag remains the best song for raiding a zombie-infested Walmart too. I wouldn't really know. I don't go to Walmart very often anymore because they shut down our local Walmart. Our fucking Walmart that was relatively close. They actually shut it down. What if I put this in half? What if I do it something like this, so we can slap an image right there? Give a few examples. Like, you need to set up this a little bit early, just so it's like people kind of know, like, okay, this is who you are. This is how you're going to be doing things. Let's see. So we're going to be doing. We don't need to worry about you anymore. Let's actually think. Do we want to do attributes and skills first, or do we want to do? No, I think we do attributes and skills first, because if we do attributes and skills first, we can then, when we do the who you are, we write everything else in, and that's going to determine a lot more. That's going to be kind of determine some side attributes. Now that's going to work out. Okay, that's going to work. So we want to do, I guess we can call them attributes. No, it's, we have, in our area, it was kind of weird. That was the tiny Walmart. There's two other bigger Walmarts relatively, like, nearby, but they are a further distance away. So that particular Walmart was kind of just the small one out, so it kind of just got absorbed into the other big ones. It made complete sense, but it's kind of annoying because where it was like, oh, this was really convenient because it was like a 5-minute drive away, and you could always get there pretty reliably. And there was like a bunch of little shops around there. There was a big grocery store over there. Massive fucking grocery store. Massive grocery store. They were right over there. There's a movie theater in that little area. Yeah. But that entire area, like all the big stores actually went away there. I know the Target shut down, the Walmart shut down. Fucking, I think there was a Macy's in there for a while. But mind you, we also have a Target downtown, which is a little tiny baby Target. You even. And little tiny baby Target. It's so bizarre anytime I go in there, because it feels like a Target. It is a Target. It's just like it's like 5 by 5. It's like this little tiny shack of a Target. It's bizarre. I love it. Oh, 3, 2. Ow! Goodness gracious. 3, 2. Oh, goodness gracious. Ooh. Stretching, breaking my bones. It's great. I love it. Ooh. My sense of time is still a little distorted. It's great. I love it. I love having my sense of time just completely fucked. It's the tops. But that's love, that's love. Oh, why do I look at these things? How did you fuck up time? Here in the States, I actually don't know if you guys would have to deal with it. Here in the States, we have daylight savings time. Our daylight savings time, we sprung forward an hour. Every year it's the fall back and spring forward. We sprung forward, and my sense of time has been really distorted since then because I go to sleep at terrible hours. So what occurred was, what occurred was that I went to bed after the time changed. So my sense of time was getting really distorted for a while. And it just fucks everything up for like a good solid like week for me. Then I'll get used to it again. That's why we're actually streaming pretty early today, just because I kind of got recorrected myself a little bit. Dang, Anon, have you considered maybe sleeping at a normal time? See, this is the unfortunate part, Ethel. This is the unfortunate reality of my current situation. Is I went to bed late one time, so the next day I go to bed later because I wake up later, and then I go to bed late. It's this endless cycle now where I go to bed at like 4 a.m. and wake up about 10. I just don't sleep very well. And mind you, it does not help that, like, I am a notoriously bad when it comes to sleeping. I have bad insomnia. I do not know why. I don't know why it happens. I've done every trick in the book before. I, get the nice pillows. I, sleep comfortably. I turn off all electronics and shit. Nothing works. I just say fuck it at some points. I used to, mind you, what I used to do is I used to listen to videos a lot. I still do. Like, if I just need to like lay down, what I do is I lay down and I like put on my earphones and start sleeping. See, if I drink a lot of beer before I go to sleep, I don't actually get tired. Mostly because I don't, like, anytime I drink, I feel good. That's the problem. I feel too good. And I just vibe the entire time. I'm having a ball. We're balling. I don't wear contacts though. I don't know. I hate contacts, everybody. I'm gonna be perfectly frank with you there. I cannot wear contacts. People have offered me over the years, like, hey, do you want to wear contacts? Absolutely not. Scares the shit out of me. He says, taking his glasses off. Oh god. My eyes. So I was just describing what I did on Saturday night. As I do wear glasses. Because here's the fun fact, one of my eyes, actually, this is a secret note lore, everybody. I have a scar on one of my eyes. Which they don't know how it got there, actually. My dad had something similar to that. And mind you, my dad is it visible? No. But every single time I go to a new eye doctor, and they do the scan of my eye, every single time they look at me being like, oh my god, kid, are you going to be okay? I'm like, I'm gonna be fine. This is what it is. He's like, oh fuck. It's the weird thing is it's like, it's literally like a scar in the back of my eye. It's really bizarre. I used to have a picture of it. But to give you an idea, my dad has to wear Coke bottle glasses. And yes, Papa Note actually has to wear Coke bottles, and he doesn't. He can't drive anymore. He's like legally considered blind. In some states, he's legally considered blind. There's a specific term for it. I can't remember what it was. It's not that. They actually thought I had astigmatism for a while, but I don't. But yeah, I like glasses though. I can see good with them. Though I need a new pair of glasses here eventually. I can't remember what it is. Ugh, who wants to be my friend? Who are you? Oh, we've got a new one, everybody. Say hello to my new best friend. Hello, person. I always, every single time, you should always click accept friend request from random people. We're shaming people? No. I get random friend requests from people on ENVTuber, a server I'm in. I do get them quite frequently of people being like, "You want to be friends?" I'm like, "Sure, let's do it. I'll be friends with you. Have no fear." And I always try to be super friendly. I accept random friend requests. Damn straight. Always accept random friend requests. See, the best part is being part of ENVTuber, this fucking server, is that I end up encountering so many people, so many different kinds of VTubers there, and every single time I doubt my own humanity a little bit. Like, every single time I'm like, wow, I'm horrified by this. Wowie zowies. Oh, I love them. I love VTubers. Every single VTuber deserves a head pat. Even you, Zayon. You crazy bitch. Yeah, no, it's see, unfortunately McDrusselt isn't here, or we just be high school girls talking drama, and it's great. I love it. Oh yeah, no, I get like random friend requests from people. Be like, "You want to be friends?" Oh, we've got a message. Let's wave. Hello. See, it's that, or I get people trying to sell me something every time. I love it when people try to sell me things. Now let me think. We need a good word for attribute synonym, because an attribute doesn't sound quite right. Like, attribute sounds too simple. That's the issue, I think. Attribute, like, it's just like, yeah, this is just an attribute. Like, no, I want it to feel a little bit more dramatos, if that makes sense. Dramatic. So, like, characteristics. That could work. Features? Nah. Traits? Because one of the big things is I don't want these to change much. I think that's an idea, is like, these are not going to change much, or if at all. Your skills are going to increase. Your attributes, your characteristics, whatever the fuck these are, aren't going to really change. These are, I'm not going to say they're set in stone, but they ain't going to be much, there's not going to be much difference from A to B, if that makes sense. Unless you invest in that. Features? Characteristics? Traits? I'm feeling characteristics. I'm feeling characteristics or traits. That's what I'm kind of leaning into. Because I already am making the call that I want to make kind of like the talent system. I'm just going to call them talents, because that makes a lot of sense. Talents are going to be distributed pretty slowly, but I want each one to feel pretty important. You're not going to get like a bunch of different talents. You're going to get a talent every. I lean characteristics. Yeah, we can do characteristics then. I think that works. The thing is with like talents and abilities and things, you're going to effectively level up at the end of every leg of the journey. Pretty much when you are past an area, past the zone or whatever, that's when you're going to end. That's when you're going to get an advancement. You're going to be able to You're going to be able to get a new skill. You're going to be able to get a talent, or you can get it's pretty much, you can select two. So it's like, I want a skill and a talent, I want a talent and an attribute, or I want an attribute and it's going to be a little bit slower. That's what I'm thinking of anyway. Or I might just do skill and a talent, which you can sub out a talent for an attribute, but you're losing out on some valuable stuff there. That's kind of the idea. Vampires are going to have the unfortunate reality of they're just going to have to start developing their bloodlines. Like, yeah, characteristics. Okay, let's do each of the drifters will possess actually each of the drifters have characteristics which define their abilities and which define their I should say their natural abilities and peculiar natures in the field on the road. Each of these characteristics not only actually each of these characteristics define both the drifters actually when first creating a drifter, they will have blank characteristic points. I'm going to call them characteristic points for right now. It'll have the blah 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 characteristics points to distribute among all of them. Each of the attributes, each of the characteristics, I'm going to keep calling them attributes, characteristics have a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 10. Though the average however, the average for most humans is around 4 to 5, while vampires tend to gravitate toward 6 to 7. Let's see. Actually, we can do 5 to 7. So we'll do 6 to 7. These characteristics will not change much across the these characteristics will only change these characteristics. How do I want to word this? These characteristics are defined. These characteristics are set in stone. These characteristics. Actually, no. Characteristics. Will be difficult to change. Difficult to change on their journey. Forcing them to either compromise their abilities, or train especially hard to increase any of them. To increase them. I kind of want to get across the idea, like, right away, like, you can make these better, but kind of understand you're not really going to be improving improving any of them. They're going to be kind of set in stone, and that's okay. Like, that's fine. You can do it. But understand that. Like, you can doesn't mean that you will or you should in that fact. Because, like, one of the ideas for, like, vampires, for example, vampires are going to have higher ones, but they are really not encouraged to increase any. Like, they are really not encouraged, because you want to take, with vampires, you want to take more things to allow you to do more stuff. They're going to have the most amount of talents and most amount of things to cover. The biggest problem with vampires, though, is, again, they're stressing out a lot easier, and they are always going to be kind of, they're always going to be forced to take something. It's one of those things, like, they are constantly, they are stronger, but they are always taking something more than what they can possibly deliver. Which is, if you play the vampire, if you are playing the vampire, you need to know, can they do magical shit? They're the ones able to do that more reliably, if that makes sense, because they have higher attributes and stuff. If you want to be a magician in this game, if you want to do magic shit, TM, you are going to go insane. It's very taxing, it's very confusing, and it's very risky. Most of the time, you aren't going to be doing that, though. And that's one thing I kind of want to emphasize is, like, there isn't really like I want to play a wizard. You're not going to be playing a wizard. You're going to be playing a guy who has been experimenting with it, but if you want to know a wizard, talk to the ferals, the ones that are insane and trying to, you know, carve symbols into their bodies to do things. Vampires are more able to do things like that, though, because they're just tougher. Like, they can endure a lot more. That's kind of like one of the big things there. They are not overtly magical, however, they have a stronger disposition toward it, if that makes sense. Ow. My goddamn. Yep. That jolly fellow. Jolly. Okay, so obviously, because I am a silly boy, I'm gonna keep doing this because I like tables. I like tables, sue me. I am going to bump this up. So generally speaking, I wasn't going to keep like a lot of these. What I was thinking for characteristics at this point was something pretty simple. Something like physical, mental, social, sense, and the last one was being a little bit wonky on that regard. What I was going to be doing was something either along the idea of like soul, which is more your ability to kind of like, how do I want, it's your disposition toward bullshit, if that makes sense. Another idea was quite literally just luck. Like, luck was going to be an actual honest to God attribute, with the very strong idea being, if your luck is real, you can say, I want to just try my luck. And if you're like, oh, you want to try your luck, okay, you can make a roll and you can try, but I'm not going to say it's going to succeed. Or it's like, hey, this is just roll luck to see if you just do find something, or if you are able to do something. It's being kind of the attribute that does everything, but nothing at all. That being kind of the issue. The most valuable, useless attribute. Which would be also kind of a tie, it would be also kind of tying into how I want the skills to work, because the idea behind it is the skills are going to be more, I wouldn't say generic, but kind of universally applied. It's not you're going to have like a fighting skill kind of thing. I'm gonna write these out, and then I'm gonna do the skills probably on my off time, because I just need to like hammer out like what exactly I want the skills to look like. But it's kind of like the idea of like, if you have the war skill or a fighting skill or something like that, physical fighting, pretty obvious. Like, okay, cool, I'm going to punch you in the face. But if you want to do like, you know, social fighting, it's not necessarily like, I want to punch you in the face. It's, you know, combat. You know how to teach people to fight. You know how to explain combat to other people. That's something very simple. Luck combat would be like you making like a stupid shot that you really shouldn't be making. It's luck was always going to be kind of the rely on bullshit ability, if that makes sense. It's pure stupid luck. It should never, the thing is with it, I'm gonna have to put a side note here, is luck should never be everyone's go-to. Luck is the bullshit magnet, though. If you make a luck check, it's very different than if you say, hey, we're tracking something. Tracking would be maybe like, again, it would be like, I don't know what the exact skill name would be, but like tracking plus sense. Tracking plus sense is, okay, I want to try to find this person. I'm looking around, I'm really trying to find clues and shit of like, okay, I think I know what to do. Tracking luck would be you accidentally stumble upon their bullshit. Like you're accidentally following it. Where the bigger successes there are more favorable outcomes rather than anything else. A marginal success on luck tracking would be you literally run into them. It's like, I wonder what's around the corner, bonk. Oh, there you are. That's how it is. You need to get like stupidly lucky to do things. On the other hand, it's like, yeah, you failed, but you also just ran into the people who want to shoot you. Like, oh, hey, we're trying to run away from the Union who's trying to, make sure my friend is, permanently tied to a fucking engine for the rest of his life. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. We found them. Oh, no. So that's what I was kind of thinking when it came to like, oh god, sounds like Scooby-Doo. Yeah, that would be kind of like, how grim dark is this? I would picture this to be more, how do I want to word this? How do I want to word this? The best way to think about it would be, this is Slav jank. Slav jank tier when it comes to like how dark and gritty it is. It is, it's the situation is genuinely hopeless. It's a genuine nightmare situation. Because the setting is, hey, there have been 3 wars. Each war has devastated the land more and more, where it's not the wasteland, it's the ashlands. Because everything looks like ash. The snow is darker, everything looks terrible, breathing is difficult but doable. And it's like, yeah, everything is terrible. The fucking vampires do want to kill all of humanity, and humans do want to kill all the vampires, but we have to work together because it sucks. But it's also kind of that you can have moments where you can find yourself in a camp where they're just playing guitar and just hang out. It's hope, it's hope, but not necessarily like what we would call like, it's very hopeful, it's bright and happy and all that. It's janky, it's silly, it's stupid. It's a funny, and not exactly a funny thing. It's, the world is so god-awful that anything seems funny by comparison. So make the most out of this hopelessness, this complete bleak nightmare. We're having some fun. Yeah, that would be kind of the best way to think about, would be pitch black humor in some ways. If you want to kind of go down that angle, you can have kind of moments of like complete seriousness, or like, yeah, this is pretty grim. Other times it's like, yeah, it's just Eastern Russia. Russia plus Eastern Europe. Yeah, it's Slavic. It's kind of like with Stalker, for example. Because Stalker, you'll find like some amusing situations of just people hanging out, just having fun, and they'll shit talk, they'll have fun, and it's like, oh, vodka's the best way to heal radiation damage in Stalker, for example. Or you'll end up in situations in like Metro, for example, where you'll run into Venice. Venice is a really fun place to be in Metro. I think it's Last Light where you visit Venice. Where it's enjoyable. It's good. People are kind and people are, you know, it's grim. But then again, it's that context of we are in effectively a metro tunnel surrounded on all sides by by mutants and monsters and creatures of the night that are constantly under threat. We are effectively run. If one thing goes wrong, we're all going to die. But pill up a guitar and drink some mushroom beer, man. Who cares? That's kind of the feeling that I want to get here. It's things are terrible, but let's make the most of it. It's like, yeah. And I don't want people to be like, vampires are grim and evil. They're a nightmare monster. Like, you're going to encounter vampires who are just like, it's picture like, again, like 5 guys squatting around a fucking campfire and you're like, yeah, one guy's a fucking vampire. They're all sharing vodka with each other. They're all fucking shit-faced. Yeah, they're having a ball. Who cares if he's a vampire? He sucks blood. Cool. We eat food. Oh no. That's kind of the idea, like, it's, you have the grimness of the situation contrasted by the goofiness of the situations that crop up. It is goofy, it is silly, it is, by virtue of being where you are, it feels pretty bleak. So, fuck it. Who cares? Who cares if things can't get any worse, so we may as well enjoy it. So I'm thinking this is what we can do. If we do it like this, what we can do, we just need to sort the table like that. I wonder. Where's my Russians? Oh my Slavs. Oh my Slavs. Is there a term in Russian? Is there a term / word in Russian which is more bullshit luck or random or just happenstance? I feel like there should be a term for that. Just like, it's not necessarily like just luck, but it's like, yeah, things are going right for you for once. Actually, you know what we can do? No, we can do this down here, which is, each characteristic will only, will rarely be rolled, each character will rarely be rolled alone. It will have most of the time it will have a skill associated with it. Most of the time you'll have a skill associated with it. Whenever a raw characteristic roll. Whenever a raw characteristic judgment is called, the drifter is relying entirely on their natural ability rather than any kind of skill. Rather than any kind of training. Generally, these are considered lower quality than having the required skill for the situation. Generally, these are considered to be lower quality than having the required skill for the situation. So we're going to do luck, which is going to be some people are simply luckier, simply luckier than us. Some people are simply luckier than others. Sometimes that luck goes both ways. Sometimes that luck goes both ways as well. Relying on luck is relying on fate. Is relying on fate and its good graces. Intelligence is more than just book smarts. It's understanding people, understanding situations, and identifying situations and putting together clues, and putting together clues. Lie on mental is a scale of many things of the mind. Mental measures the mind's measures the ability of the mind to put the puzzle together. So strength, power, endurance, and the will to survive is all tied together at the end of the thing. At the end of the day. I might change the term of physical. I might shift some of these around, but I just want to get something written down. The will to survive is all tied together at the end of the day. Physical is all about physical is defined by the will. This is the will to push the body to its absolute limits, and around them, eyes, ears, and hands all play a part in the nature of sense. All play a part in survival of the fittest. Eyes, ears, mouth, nose, and hands all play a part in the survival of the fittest. Those who understand what's before them reasonably survive. These aren't the best. Just kind of writing something to get something down. Oh, getting pinged by people. Who's pinging me? Oh. Let's see. Understand what's before them and reasonably survive it. Sense is their ability. Hello, phone. Sense is the ability to cover what's before them. Figure out what it is. Social words. Learn. Fuck, I don't even know how to word this properly. I'm always terrible when it comes to like wording attributes. Like, I know what I want them to say. I know how they want to be. I know how to present them sometimes. The idea is like, how do I like word things? Like, how do you word being strong? You're tough. Okay. Like, fuck, what does this mean? Oh no. Especially when it comes to more of these abstracted attributes. They have their own issues. Getting a ding ding on my phony wony. So what's poppin'? What's poppin', Mom? Let's see what my mom's wanting to send me. Is it gonna be Noti question. Time zone is the limit at? Wednesday. Pretty much, it's going to be, I would say it's going to be the end of Wednesday for me, so it's going to be noon it's going to be midnight EST, probably on Wednesday. My mom's sending me Instagram memes because that's what my mother does. So 4 a.m. for me, great. It'll be, yeah. I believe in you. I believe in everybody that on Wednesday we will see a lot of boats. I'm assuming boats and whales. Charisma and personality, charisma and empathy all play a part in understanding others and learning how they tick. The social all of those. Okay, so because they're low content and having required skill for the situation, we slap an image right there, and then we just have to do skills. But I'm gonna do skills off camera because I know what I want to kind of put down for skills. I just need to like double check things. Let's see. Actually, if we want to be average of, let's say an average of 4. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we have 5, average of 5 would be 25. If we put it like an average of like, if we give everybody an average of 25 characteristic points, then you can have an average of about 5 in everything. So yeah, I think 25 characteristic points between these 5. You can dump one, you can give one to be a 10. 10 is like your apex at it. Hey, I'm expecting it. I'm expecting Kino out of every single whale game. Thank you very much. And if it's not very good, I'm gonna feel really sad, guys. I expect only the highest quality and highest production values. Well, Lubu, if you go to my server and go down to Jammer Hours or Jovian Sleigh Ride. Jovian Sleigh Ride was a month-long game jam. I had people go, and it was an adventure in making a game about space whaling. And there were some very basic requirements. So, why space whaling? Because some a Redditor back in 2015 actually made a game called Jovian Sleigh Ride. He didn't actually write anything down for it. There was nothing there. It was pretty much just an idea that he was like pitching to other people to be as like cool as possible. It didn't work out. He didn't write anything down. To give you our basic ideas was it must be a sci-fi whaling simulator, as deep or as light as you wish. The ship is just as important as the crew, take that as you will, Hunting the whale must be factored in, and all the grim realities of whaling must as well. And they must implement one of the following: cards, unusual dice, or player PC mechanics, otherwise known as meta currencies or something like that. They have to implement one. I was curious to see what would happen. Yep, I'm waiting for what I'm waiting to see what occurs. That's what this weekend's going to be, as I'm going to go over every single one of the Jovian Sleigh Ride games. Are you going to review them? Yes, this Saturday. This Saturday we are going to go over every single one of them, because the one I like the most, the two I like the most, are going to choose what cases we're going to do for April. They're going to be the ones choosing the April cases. So far, we have games called Descent, Whale Fight, Top Whale, Sea of Star Walls, The High Road, Jovian Sleigh Ride, Return of the Whale. Those are our whaling extravaganzas, everybody. I'm ready for it. Oh yeah, just don't flex on us there a little bit, Archer. Just flex on us a little bit. Okay, fuck off. Fuck you. Fuck you. Top Whale is already one. I've not read any of them. That is an important idea. I've not read a single one of them. And I'm going to read them all blind. I'm ready. It's gonna be great. I think all of them are going to be various shades of cursed. I think that's a given. I'm completely okay with that. I embrace it even. So I'm going to call it there for everybody. So thank you all for watching. We also, like, one of the things that we have to worry about, apparently, mind you, the guys over at Dead Tree Studios have been like, oh, I hate everything you just worded there. I hate every single thing you just said there, Ethical. Every single goddamn thing. One of the things is, apparently the guys at Dead Tree Studios have been doing their best to come up with something as well, and they're like a company, so I'm hoping, guys, come on guys, I'm excited for it. I think you can do it. I believe in all of you. Have they gotten back to hiring me? No, not yet. They have. I don't think we will say. I do not think I will hear back from them until the end of the month, minimum. Yeah, Dead Tree Studios, yeah, they apparently were going to be working on a whale game as well. That was Zen, Tough Tea, all of those guys, yes. Game. They were making a game for the jam. Yeah, no, it's I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. It's going to be great. I am excited. So I'm going to call it there for everybody. Thank you all. I meant to only do a 2-hour stream today. But Godspeed, good luck. I will see you all most likely. I will see you all on tomorrow, because the video tomorrow. Have you thought about kidnapping some people from the industry and doing interviews with them? I'm far too schizophrenic and small to have anybody of note on this godforsaken stream. I have debated on talking with Mildra the Monk, though. I don't know if any of you ever watch Mildra or know who Mildra is, but he does reviews and stuff. He's far more friendlier than me. I was wanting to actually do a stream with him about the OGL crisis. Not a stream necessarily, but kind of like a video with him about the OGL crisis, because that was such a fascinating thing. So maybe I'll reach out to Mildred one of these days. No, Ben, have you ever considered identifying as a person of note? P-O-N, a pawn? Pom kimochi. What's the sticky stuff on me? There we go. That's done. I've destroyed my career. I'll see you all in hell. I will become Neanners. See you at my V Shoujo debut party. Thank you very much. God. V Shoujo notepad soon, TM. Hey, if Iron Mouse can make like $1 bajillion just being Iron Mouse, I sure as hell can try. Now, be my victim. Okay, I'm away. Godspeed, good luck, you know the rest.